Hi, I'm Daniel Godwin. I'm the Wildfire Crisis Strategy Program Manager here on the Arapaho Roosevelt National Forest and Pawnee National Grassland. I want to tell you about the work we're doing here on the Colorado Front Range Wildfire Crisis Strategy landscape, working with people, pods, and fire. Now let's start big picture. We know that big fires roll over small fuels treatments. We saw it with Cameron Peak. We saw it with East Troublesome. It happens again and again. So we got to figure out a way to get to scale. We also know that here fires generally move from west to east. We also know that the clock is ticking. We have limited time and resources to do big things before the next big fire. We know that our burn windows are getting tighter and our fire seasons are getting worse. We also know another thing. Fuels treatments are more effective in middle elevations. You get too high up in altitude into the lodgepole, there's not as much you can do about it. In the lower elevations here in the grass and the shrubland, that just grows back very quickly, and the wildland-urban interface challenges are significant. But in that middle elevations in the dry mix conifer, there's a lot of good work we can do. So we've landed on using a strategy of pods. Now, pods are a way of using rivers, ridges, roads, and previous burn footprints or wildfire footprints to chunk up the landscape into coherent units. And they're used oftentimes in wildfire response, but we're using them for fuels treatment planning here too. Now, if you think of a pod as a container of risk, that can help you wrap your head around this. So if we know that fires move from the higher elevation, generally west to east, and we can do good work in the middle elevations, if we create and identify a series of pods for treatment in that middle elevation that are contiguous and with depth, we can do a lot of good work. We also know that no one pod can stop a big fire run, but each pod provides opportunities for firefighters to get out there. So this pod-driven strategy buys us time for smaller focused treatments in the future. If we strengthen pod boundaries in this prioritized contiguous area here, we can then burn within some of those pods and so create larger units there. That buys us time to do a lot of other targeted burning out on the landscape that may be more boutique in some ways, really focused on specific objectives. So landscape scale burning can give us opportunity and buy us time to do some of these other targeted treatments. So how are we doing this work? We're working with the Northern Colorado Fireshed Collaborative, which is an amazing partner organization that brings in all kinds of different groups, from community-based partners to fire protection districts to the State Forest Service, and all these folks working together, all towards the goal of helping the landscape here be prepared to receive beneficial fire and to help communities be prepared to experience fire, both prescribed and wild. So as we're thinking about drawing out these pod boundaries and identifying which ones, we're working with place-based organizations through the Northern Colorado Fireshed Collaborative. And this isn't really a forest-led effort. This is led by the Fireshed here. So you can see here a bunch of different partners working together, the classic scene of folks getting around a map and drawing with markers. And we're in this scene, we're identifying the pod boundaries that we think should be the priority based on different risk assessments, based on best available science, but also bringing in that subject matter knowledge into this and the community values. Because this exercise isn't just a scientific process. It's about bringing in what's important to people and what they want to see happen out there in the forest that they love. And as we know, collaboration is messy, and that's okay. I mean, this shows, this is one of the maps that came out of one of these processes. And it's there's a lot going on there, and that's okay. You know, we have to lean into this messy process, and we are here with the Fireshed, and it's really exciting. And as you can see, you know, we've been able to identify contiguous pods moving north to south from the Wyoming border to just outside of Estes Park. And we're going to continue this process with place-based organizations through the Fireshed and bring this all the way down to I-70. So what are we doing with this? It allows us with all of our partners to align around a shared strategy. You know, if we know where we're going and where we all agree is important to do work, that means that we've all got our, our agreed upon process here. So it's going to drive our next round of environmental assessments and NEPA. It's going to help our partnership with the National Forest Foundation target investments towards expanding this treatment in the ribbon here. And it also allows opportunities for our partnership with the Division of Fire Prevention and Control to do some private land burning to really make sure that these pods are buffed out. And then we're working through these fireshed committees to engage in a process of continuous improvement, trying to find what's working, what's not, and then try and find solutions for it. So, we know where we're going. We're working with our partners to figure out where we can do more work, and our partners can then work together with us and identify where they can do work as well. So this is the work we're doing here in the Northern Colorado Fireshed with all these partners. Thank you for your time today. I'm Daniel Godwin with the Arapaho Roosevelt National Forest and Pawnee National Grassland. Thank you.